gentlemen, how we doing, people? I hope that so far you're doing great. Since we last spoke, we always just come and bring you amazing things. And Happy New Year, by the way, because I'm gonna say Happy New Year until 1st of February. Then I'll say Happy Valentine's Day. My name is Tess Waka. This is Bwenieve Digital, and right beside me here is a wonderful man of God. I was telling him the way my husband is such a big fan, and he's loved his music. I am a big fan. No, let me say my husband.
I was about to say, I guess you hate mine, so I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, but Joe Mettle, people, he's in Kenya for an amazing conference that's kicking. I think it's ending today, and we got a chance to catch up with him. And I found him talking about food. I'm a foodie, so I think that's where we'll begin. Have you had any Kenyan food?
Not at the moment.
Oh, why not?
Wait, what's some of the Kenyan food? I have no idea.
You haven't? Because when I was hanging out with Coffee, he had nyama choma.
No, I
Please
haven't.
make sure
Wait,
you
wait.
check the one of
I think
those.
the last time I was here, I probably
You did,
tried it.
yeah?
What's the nyama
Nyama
choma?
choma. It's like braai. Have you had braai? It's like, yeah.
The other foods, and like the Kenyan food is mixed with the Indian cuisines and stuff, so you can't tell.
You can tell
the difference. I think the first time I had chapati was here.
Ah,
Yeah,
you
so
had
but I know
chapati.
that's
So,
Indian food,
yes,
it's not.
it's roti.
But it's
Still. Well, we need to make sure that Joe Mettle tests some giberi.
What's giberi?
You don't want to know. Trust me.
Okay.
But it's good to have you in Kenya. You
It's good
mentioned
to
that
be
you've
here.
been here before.
Yes.
What do you like about Kenya so far?
We're one people, so I love more or less to say you're amongst your own people. Yeah. So, the atmosphere, the people, the vibe.
Yes.
And most importantly, when you're amongst the children of God in Kenya, you can tell they love God, and it's a beautiful place to be.
That's amazing. Did you hear Kenyans? If you're listening, watching from Kenya, just put a thumbs up. So here's what we're going to do. In Kenya, I love to just bring Kenya in the conversation.
Okay.
We usually introduce ourselves with our ID names. It's called an M-Pesa name.
Okay.
Like, I'm Tess, but if you send me some money, it's not going to read.
Oh, you know that thing. Yeah.
So
no, we have that back. Mobile money.
yes.
So you never go say, hey, is that your name? I know what Joseph Oscar Ni Ama Mettle, but
go.
I never add the Niama. That's more like my tribal name.
Yeah. All right. So we say that a lot because people get shocked. Someone is called this, and then you send them money one time, and they're like, "What is that your name?" But let's talk about music. Have you always like known that God was calling you into music? Did it just come, or was it?
I think from the beginning, I just thought that I had a gift to of music. It was basic for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't taken serious, and by that time, being a singer, I was just playing.
Yeah.
Just play drums. And, we go to churches. It was more like work and pay. I played. We didn't have time for all this God stuff.
Yeah.
But a time came in my life where I started properly getting to know God, drew closer to the things of God, and spent more time with God myself. And that was when the unveiling of the revelations of what He intended for my life and why He gave me the gift to serve Him and not for my benefit. And so that was when things started unfolding for me. Yeah. And who am I? I just obeyed. And this is where we are a few years later.
They say the rest is history.
Well,
a lot of ministers sometimes struggle with balancing music and any other thing. I want to just ask you, do you do anything, or you're a full-time musician?
I am. I think I'm a full-time musician. I used to go to school. I went to school thinking I probably would need it for something else. So I went to uni, and it was difficult.
What did you study?
Marketing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I studied marketing. But before marketing, I had done draftsmanship. So I was actually going to do. So I was doing architecture for a while, then I left that field, went to marketing. I was thinking, let me just do something that probably will be relevant to maybe the music, promotions, strategy, everything. And then after that, I don't know where my degrees are actually, but I know I went to school. I know I graduated, everything.
In Kenya, most of the times we were having some time during, I think it was elections and everything, and politicians had a big challenge proving that they were going to.
They were, because I'm sure if I can't even, I think I have it somewhere. You know what I started doing with it?
Yeah.
I was using it to collect visas. Because at the point when we were going for interviews, like, if you were educated, but I said, I have it. So I'm sure it's in my document somewhere. But because I realized I didn't really need it for what God is doing. I just needed the idea. and everything. So that's what it is. And then sometimes I get to do, musicians. You do a little bit of other stuff around you, but I would say my main time is into the music ministry. Back home, I have a few studios I run as well, and then I ran a sound company as well, and a production company.
You ended up doing some marketing, just
that's what I mean. So I use that to manage the little that God has given me around the ministry as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you are a well-known minister, not just in Ghana, and there are a lot of young people that will watch this. We've had such situations in Kenya where fame and money has brought people off course. Yes, they started well and did very well, but at some point, these things took a hold of them. For you, Joe, what is the one thing, or how have you been able to manage just to ensure that these things don't get in the way?
I think I was actually just sharing with some of my brothers not long ago that you would have to constantly remind yourself that what you have, you're just a steward of what you carry. Once you get to that point, you will never be entitled. There's a saying that the moment you see somebody being entitled, the person have started being ungrateful. If you'd realize that this is God giving me an assignment to look over, because you see, it will be the lack of your communication and fellowship with the giver of the gift that would make you start thinking you own the gift.
Yes.
Many times somebody gives you a gift, and when you hold on to it for so long, you start feeling you own it.
Yours, yes.
Exactly. That is what normally happens to us. And then we start, it is me. I'm the biggest this, I'm the that.
Yeah.
And you forget that somebody made you.
Yeah.
And didn't just make you for yourself. He made you for his pleasure.
Yes.
He gave you the gift for his pleasure. The moment it starts becoming for your pleasure, you are heading towards, So many times I ask people, why would you want to change who you used to be before you became who you are today?
Yes.
Whatever you used to do that brought you to where you are, when you get to this place, you actually do more of it than you used to do.
Yes, you do more because you need it more.
So when you are constantly reminded of being a steward of it, it will never get to you.
It would.
And you're human, so the temptation will be there.
Yeah.
But try to constantly remind yourself, this is the work of my master. I have someone I report to. And so no matter what happens, I'm reminded that this is God's work. He decides what he wants to do. And it will help you.
I think that's why the psalmist says that, forget not thy benefits. It's easy sometimes to forget the things of God. It's easy to forget that, by the way, before this is where I was. I think it's not just for musicians, for each and every one of us, whatever we'll be.
Even in our lives,
And most of the times, Joe, when people look at musicians and ministers and they see their life, they think, this guy is just living just next to heaven, just after God bless them. But we've coming from a very difficult place with COVID and everything. How did that affect you as a minister, and how did you get through it?
The same person. You see, many times we speak about who God is without necessarily, even sometimes we that speak about who God is do not allow ourselves to enjoy who God is.
Yeah.
Because most of the time we speak to people without speaking to ourselves. You will never know how the provision of God is in the midst of abundance, but in the midst of scarcity.
Yes.
That was when I've seen the hand of God. I've seen God do things. But during COVID was when I realized even more so the power in the provision of God. When I was worried about my environment. But God was so faithful in his provision that not only did he provide for me and my family, he provided for everyone else around me. God opened doors. I mean, certain things that I even got to do during COVID, I'm sure I couldn't have done it if it wasn't COVID. Because you were not traveling, but we had more than enough. Not only that, but we had God's provision, we had God's protection, we had God's sustenance. I mean, I didn't know the whole time. One time, I think, right after that, I was traveling. I was going to Canada. I had gone to do my COVID test, and then the results came. They said, you had COVID. I was like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
But right around me, I saw people passing and all those things. It was all God. COVID, I mean, if COVID has taught us anything, it was to rely solely on God, whether there's abundance, whether there's scarcity. And that's what God showed us during COVID.
Yeah, I think what you said is important, that it is during scarcity that
you see that.
It makes the whole point of abundance when you don't have.
Yeah.
maybe just one last question as we wrap this up. So we're beginning the year. A lot of Kenyans are gonna watch this video. Just any message to encourage Kenyans, either the one that is not in a good place. It's the beginning of the year. A lot of plans ahead. Just a word of encouragement.
What I would say is keep holding on to the faith. The year will come with its own challenges. The year will come with its own struggles and everything. Many times when we share with people, we just say like, oh, it's going to be amazing. It will be amazing. It will be trying as well. But the only constant factor in this whole situation will be God and how well you know him. The Bible says, they that know their God, they shall be strong. The strength you need is actually in the face of adversity. So when it comes, you will know that the strength of God is keeping you. But not only does it say that, but outside the face of adversity, it says you will do exploits. So when even everything around you or people around you feel like everything is going down, know that the strength of God that you've received first is going to also bring you the grace to do exploits. So I pray God will be with you. I pray God will keep you. I pray he sustains you, he holds you. May he show his face. May you see sights of God in this year you've never seen. And when men says there's a casting down, may you always say there's a lifting up. God bless you. And thanks for having me.
Karibu sana. Have they touched
Asante
Swahili?
sana.
Oh, they have. All right. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep it here, Bwenieve Digital, for all the updates and everything that's happening and your favorite musicians from across the world. My name is Tess Walker. God bless you.